So welcome everyone. Those of you that are able to join in live, awesome. And for anybody else who may be having a better time of day or evening to do this flow yoga practice, good for you, awesome. And I've been thinking about, yeah, just Mother Nature and all of this lovely weather that we're having. Everything from snow, rain, high winds, pretty wild, and lots of wet and lots of moisture. So um, for our practice today, I'd like us to just focus on how that can be purifying, rinsing. It is that kind of classic spring cleaning of both any of the kind of gut that has built up around joints and in terms of our mental landscape as well, which of course is not just over, an accumulation of the winter or anything, but it's a day-to-day kind of like last week I went and had my teeth cleaned, which felt really good to get it all um, sort of scraped off. It doesn't have to be anything forceful, and we're not trying to obliterate or stop the mind, any of that at all. We're just going to see if we can soften a little bit and dissolve around tight areas in the body, and see if we can find some space in the mind to allow everything to just be okay, to be here, because it is anyway. So if you like to use blocks, those are great, or a couple of books, something if you do feel like raising the floor up. I've got a flat blanket that I use for a few different things for under my knees, but it can also be made into a little bit of a seat if you don't need anything too high. We are going to start sitting, and maybe you have bolsters or other things that you like, but sitting in the hero's pose is not for everybody, and you can also sit in a chair. But if you have a block or two, then as I'm going to use this blanket right underneath my sits bones, and maybe you prefer to be cross-legged or otherwise, that's fine. But if you do have a way to sit in that manner, I might even need something a little bit higher so that your knees can be closer together, or at least not wider than hip distance apart, and your heels will hug in. They won't be underneath your butt, but just hugging in close to whatever you're sitting on. Something that feels good and allows your spine to lengthen. So just take a moment to find what it is for you. The beauty of practicing from home is that you don't have to feel as inclined to do for anybody else, or have to be in a certain posture. We just want to take a few moments to get centered and arrive. And so we'll start our practice with the sound of the bell, the gong, which has a bit of a vibration as a habit for the mind to just drop into being present within this body. So embodied mind. It's beginning to be aware of the body sitting. Taking a seat that has a bit of ease and dignity. So the collarbones are wide, but we're not exaggerating or forcing anything. Just sitting comfortably with the shoulders dropping away from the ears. Shifting a little bit so that it feels like there's a nice support tower, the spine for the skull to sit above. And some space for the breath to just make its way through the lungs. Hands resting in the lap or placed palms down on the thighs. Can let the chin draw in just slightly or back a little bit. Sometimes I think of the backs of the ears moving back and up slightly, so just helps to make the head a bit lighter. And let's take a few, just to start right away, some cleansing breaths to take the first layer off. So the breath coming in through the nose. Hold it there. And then open the mouth. It's like you're blowing out the candles on a birthday cake. Breathing in through the nose and widening the lungs and holding it there. And then exhale a big ha, or you're fogging up a mirror. Keep going with that, a few more of those to consciously align with this intention of cleaning out from the inside. Cool air coming in and warm air recirculating and moving out. Good, and then let the lips gently meet if that's comfortable for you, to begin to just sense into the ujjayi, ocean or wave. Sound of breath, that victory breath, just a little bit of gratitude for the fact that breath is here and that we are here together practicing in community. And then see if you can notice if there's an area in the body that feels some tension. Don't go into a big thinking or investigation on it, just one spot. You might have more than one where you're feeling some gripping or tightness, some constriction right now. And see if you can rest your attention in that area. Just really feel it. Belly or the chest or somewhere in the face, or maybe the posture that you're in after being in it for a few minutes is starting to give you some feedback. Just being with that physical tension in the body. Allowing the breath to soften around it a little bit. Good, and then bring your awareness to the thoughts that may be coming as you slow down. Something that may have been on your mind that you've been working with, or some frustration, an emotional tone, anything along those lines. Just not your biggest ouch, but pick something that maybe is a little bit bothersome and let your awareness rest on that. Allow yourself to feel it, since it is here, to have that open invitation and some friendliness and the possibility that things can soften and dissolve, or even noticing that it's these emotional states or particular thoughts are not permanent, fluid and passing through. Let's rub the palms together now. And as we start to feel or sense into the hands what's going on here, the energy rising, the heat, the friction, the feeling of meeting or contact between the hands. And then let the hands just come to rest at the heart center. And take a couple breaths there, feeling into the palms. Extending some goodwill towards yourself, this body, mind right now. and towards each other. Releasing the arms, and let's breathe in to bring the arms just straight up above the head. So have the palms facing in towards each other. Getting nice and tall through the spine. So we're going to do, really open up the shoulders this morning. And so let's start with a big circle, bringing the arms back, reaching the arms back behind as far as you can. And then flip the palms so the palms are facing each other now. You feel that squeeze of the shoulder blades, and then reach the arms forward and up. Inhale, palms are facing each other. And then exhale to open up the arms, palms towards the ceiling. Move the hands back as far as you can. Reach, reach, reach back. And then flip the palms so they're now more facing each other or even facing the ceiling. And then inhale, come forward. And open up on those big circles. Reach back, back, squeeze the shoulder blades. Let's do one more of those. Palms together, palms apart and flipping up, coming back, and then palms face each other again. Squeeze and reach back up. Let's meet at the top. Inhale, pressing down through the sits bones, and exhale there. So let's go the other direction. Breathing in. And then exhale, let's start with bringing the arms forward, palms facing in, and then reaching the arms back, flip the palms towards the ceiling. Inhale. Exhale, open up, big circles there. Just feeling between the shoulder blades, palms come up. And then forward on the exhale, reaching back, 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 squeeze, flipping the palms up so the thumbs are kind of pointing towards each other. And then spreading the arms wide, just making different shapes with your hands. So it might not be exactly that. For a couple more times. Spinning through the wrists, the palms, keeping most of this movement in the shoulders. Maybe like me, forgetting what direction is going in. And then reach it up once more. Inhale. And we'll spin the palms open now and bring them behind the back, clasping them together there. If the hands don't want to clasp together, or you can certainly just press fists against your sacral bones and squeeze the shoulder blades together and get the same feeling of extension through the breastbone. If it's okay for you to clasp the hands and straighten out the arms, we'll take a couple of breaths there and do some neck stretches. So take the right ear over to the right shoulder and just breathe into the left side of the neck. And start to look down over the right shoulder. Exhale. Take another inhale there. Exhale, drop the chin through center. And come on over. So left ear, left shoulder. Just lining that up. Taking the arch out of the lower back. Just tucking the tail a little bit as you breathe in here. Exhale, tip of the nose to the left. Another breath in there. Using the wave breath as an anchor. Chin to chest, releasing the arms, a few shoulder circles, just loosen all that up. Okay, so let's come on to the hands and knees now. And if you like to have some padding underneath the knees, you can use that blanket. Coming onto the hands and knees in a table shape and just lifting up through the palms. The stretching out the wrists a little bit, so just lift and lower the palms. Shifting the weight forward and back. And do that a few times. And then really keeping that press into the inner palm. Start to take your forearms down towards the floor. So feel the forearms coming down. Just touch down lightly. Keep the belly engaged. And then inhale, press the arms to straight. Exhale, squeeze the elbows, squeeze the forearms down, keep that press to the inner palm. And then inhale, straighten out the arms. Keep going. Exhale, squeeze elbows, forearms press, inner palms press, and then inhale, straighten. And then on this exhale, let's keep the elbows down. So if it's not good for your wrists to, if you can't keep the weight to the inner palm, then you can clasp your hands together there. And let's pull it up into a cat. So let your spine round, fill up the back space of the heart for an inhale and an exhale. And then inhale, squeeze the shoulder blades together, come through a cow. And exhale, lifting in the low belly and just letting the chin drop. And one more time, inhale there. And exhale. Let's curl the toes under now and start to make our way back towards the heels. So sitting back on the heels, stretch the bottoms of the feet. Or bring the hands up and sit taller. Seeing if we can open up and just find some space wherever we notice tenderness or tightness in the body. Just seeing if we can be here for a little bit, letting the breath just fill in and travel through and clear out some of the accumulations. We'll squeeze the shoulders to the ears, breathing in. And exhale. If it's too much, then just come up higher. Still getting a stretch to the bottoms of the feet, or come up and down. Inhale, squeeze. Exhale, release. One more time. Inhale. Letting something be. Coming back to hands and knees and bringing the tops of the feet down. Let's take it into a child's pose for 3. Stretching at the fronts of the ankles for 2. And 1, shift back to that table shape. Palms down again, and let's squeeze the elbows. Press it up again, inhale and squeeze the elbows. Feel your shoulder blades widen. Inhale, and then exhale, the forearms are coming back down. So again, you can clasp your hands, or if you're okay, just pressing thumb and first finger pad, and then peel up into that cat, looking back towards your knees. And this time, let's stretch the left leg back, toes curl under, and then the right leg back. So we've got a forearm plank here. Just looking forward, or just towards the space behind the thumbs, keeping the back of the skull lifted, the back of the heart, and the pit of the belly for 3. 3-dimensional breath for 2. And 1, let's tap the knees down and come through into a Sphinx pose. Forearms pull back a little bit energetically through the palms, hands shoulder distance or clasped together. If you're feeling a lot of compression in the lower back, then just wiggle the elbows further forward for that, so that you can find some ease and just connect with this area in the lower back as you take 2 more breaths there. And start to bring the chest forward and down, and bring the hands wide and come to the fingertips. Let's do 3 Cobra Waves, coming up on the inhale and rolling down on the exhale. Belly lifts, front of the pelvis presses, moving forward more than upwards. Exhale, lower on this last one. Come forward, pull the ground back, press the toenails to the floor or float the legs. An option as well to float the hands and squeeze the elbows back a little further and close into the body. You might have some of your hands touching down here, no problem. It's like an arrow lengthening out. Tippy toes to the crown of the head for 1 more breath. Exhale, lower and press it up and back. Another child's pose. Just taking 2 breaths this time. It's 1 and 2. Let's come through table shape now and curl the toes under and press the hips up and back with the knees bent. And shake the head, stick out the tongue. Just moving around through the jaw, or make some faces, releasing some holding, some gripping in the face. Keeping the knees bent, Pushing the palms forward and still finding that inner area of the palm, wrapping the upper arm bones under, and let the heels release a little further as you inhale. Keep the seat high, and as you exhale, bend the knees deeply. Inhale, heels drop, and then exhale, sits bones lift a little higher, knees deep bend. Inhaling there, and exhale. You're going to step the right foot up and come into a low lunge. And so this might be where you bring in books or blocks if you like using those. And so let's pick up the back knee. And my hands might want to be up a little bit higher. Here, hug the right hip into center. And we'll take 3 breaths on the exhales. We're just going to tap that back knee down. So we get a little deeper into the hip flexor psoas. And then stretch it out on the inhale. Exhale, tap the knee down just lightly. And inhale, stretch it out. And then exhale, tap the knee down. So you have an option here to keep the knee down, or you can keep the knee lifted to straighten out the front leg. Rocking lunges, come forward to inhale. And exhale to straighten out the front leg any amount, bringing the right hip crease back and down. And do 2 more like that. So if the back knee is down, you might have the top of the back foot down. You might explore trying either way. Let's hold the last one for 3, 2, and 1. And then we'll bring the back knee down if it's not already. And lift up higher. So bring the hands to the front thigh and move the ribs back, back, back. So have the legs more or less at right angles here. And then we're going to spin into a kickstand with the left shin and bring it over towards the right. I like to move my right foot a little more so that the right heel is in line with the left knee. And then lengthen out through this inner right thigh, reaching the knee away. And just plugging in a little bit the right side of the glutes, and stretch the arms out. So it looks like warrior 2 when we look out over the right fingertips for 3, 2, and 1. Drop the right hand onto the thigh or inside the thigh and reach the left arm just straight up. So just lots of length through both sides of the body. Reach, reach, reach for 3. And just notice where there might be some space coming. It could be both space and awareness of those tight areas. Last inhale. And exhale. We'll take it back to warrior 2. And then spin around to face the front for 1 breath in a crescent lunge. Inhale. Bring the ribs back again. And we're going to twist over to the right on the exhale. Open up. Inhale to sit low. And then exhale to open into the twist to the right. Once more, inhale. And then exhale this time as you twist to the right. Spin the right palm up and let your left hand come to your right thigh, just as an anchor there for 3. Looking to the side or over the right shoulder, freeing some space in the neck for 2. And 1, center crescent lunge on the inhale. And exhale, bring the hands down on either side of the front foot. Curl the back toes under. Lean some weight into the palms and step it into plank. Let's tap the knees down again. Let's take a breath in there. And then squeeze the elbows down, coming into that forearm shape, and press straight up just once. Elbows, forearms, squeeze down, and then peel it into a cat, looking back towards your knees. And this time, take the right leg back, inhaling, and exhaling the left leg. So back to that forearm plank, setting your posture with your knees up or down, hands wide or together for 3. Strong back, supported by the front body, 2. And 1, tap the knees down, thighs coming through the Sphinx Pose, just for 1 inhale. And exhale, lower. You can go back to that wide gecko shape or keep the fingertips in line with the shoulders now for Cobra Pose on a breath in. And 2 more of any variation of a back bend. And the toes can stay on the floor or the legs can lift from the upper thigh area, inner upper thigh, spinning towards the ceiling. Sliding the hands back a little further to come up through table and into a child's pose. And let's take those 2 full breath cycles here. Maybe come up on your fingertips, lengthen the backs of the arms, wrists. The inhale comes to tabletop shape. And the exhale curls the toes under, lifting the hips up. Again, that bent knee. Heels will drop on the inhale, hips lift high. On the exhale, the knees bend, but the hips lift even higher. Heels drop, inhale, pressing palms forward, and then exhale, belly to thighs. Last time, just coming into a regular downward facing dog for a breath. And then we'll shift forward to find that high lunge second side. So bringing the left foot forward and bring in some height if you like. Fingertips or fists on blocks or books. And find your low lunge. Let's tap the back knee down. On the exhale, try to keep the hips without moving too much as you straighten out the back heel or charge through the back foot. Tap on the exhale and lengthen on the inhale. And another tap. And 1 more time. Straightening that leg out. And so option here, either to tap the knee down and draw the left hip crease back for rocking lunges, or keep the back knee lifted. If you have enough height, if that feels interesting, then draw the hips back. And then shift forward into the low lunge, inhale. And exhale to pull back through the belly. Rocking through once more, inhale, chest lifts. And exhale. And stay for another wave breath. The spine can lengthen. And let it go. Let's shift now to bringing the back knee down if it was lifted. And bringing the hands up to that front thigh. Start to move it back, back, back with the ribs. And just adjust so that it feels like the legs are hips distance apart. You've got some stability here to take the right shin now over on a kickstand. Wiggle the front heel a little further towards being in line with the right knee. And the hips are more or less squaring up to face the side as the arms open wide into warrior 2. Left knee is going to want to soften inwards, so engage through the glutes to keep it nice and long through that inner thigh, looking out over the left fingertips. And see where it is, just coming back to that practice or that habit of feeling into something where there's some gripping. And it may be helpful, maybe muscles are engaging. Just see if you can soften around that area. Let's take the left hand just to rest on the thigh or press a little on the inner thigh and reach the right arm straight up. Finding the side stretch and the length through both sides of the body. There might be a little bit of a tip in, if that feels okay, in your hip, your back. And then inhale back to warrior 2. And exhale to spin forward and bring the hands down. Picking up the back knee, let's keep the back knee down. And come up again into the arms, palms facing each other. Let's do the twist on this side. So open up the arms to the left. Hips will stay mostly facing forward and then come back, inhale. And then exhale to open it up. We're keeping the hips just above that right thigh. Inhale or in line with it. And this time on the twist, exhale. And use your right hand now to give you a bit of support there. And flip the left palm up, looking over the side or the shoulder for 3. Wringing out the cloth for 2. And 1, low lunge now. Inhale, float. And exhale, hands can come down. Now we'll pick up that back knee. Lean some weight into the palms. And let's just step it into plank. And this time tap the knees down and exhale. Narrow the elbows to lower. Cobra or upward facing dog. The kneecaps lifted. And then let's one more time come through child's pose. Letting the breath find some space in the low back. Inhale comes to tabletop. Exhale, curls the toes under. Just one breath there. Draining contents of the brain. Tie on the tiptoes. Breathing in. And walking. Taking your time. Feet towards the hands or hands towards the feet. However it is you get there. Take the feet a little wider than hips distance. Make some room for the belly. Come up halfway and you can bend your knees. And fold over the legs there. You can dangle the arms or clasp elbows, or I'll take my hands behind the back and clasp the hands and then stretch the arms overhead. You can keep the knees quite bent, or you can just play with the hamstrings, straightening out a little bit. And then bending, straightening out a little bit like in that downward facing dog. And last time, exhale, inhale. And so release the arms there. Bend the knees now and slowly start to roll up. You can walk your hands up your legs. Just make it into a standing shape. And once you're there, just start to loosen up a little bit more. Shake and bounce and wiggle out through the wrists and shake the hands, the fingers, the flesh around your thighs, whatever feels good here. Some swinging, moving from one foot to the other, just clearing out all of the leftovers, any junk, anything that's wanting to solidify. It's all we need to do. Be willing. And slowing that down, coming to take more affirmation in the feet hips distance apart, lifting the toes, pressing down through the feet to grow the spine up. This feeling that using the energy of the earth or the soil, that imagery, just an energetic lift, all the way up with the arms. Then bring the right arm down as you tip it over. Inhale, right arm lifts. Exhale, left arm comes down and lengthen up. Inhale here. Let's do one more time each side. Exhale. And in. And out. And then both arms reach up and spread the arms around to clasp. Just exchange which thumb goes on top from time to time, lifting up through the breastbone. Bend down through the knees, inhale. And then fold belly to thighs, exhale. Drop the knees, really deep squat as the chest lifts, inhale. And exhale. Maybe your feet need to be a little wider. Just be playful. And once more, inhale. And exhale, release. Let's bring the hands to the shins now. Surya Namaskar A. Coming up halfway and then belly to thighs, exhale. Fists or palms plant underneath the shoulders and step the left leg back and then the right leg back. Shifting forward, tapping the knees down. If you prefer the forearm options, that's great. Lower all the way to the ground. We're going to do 2 of these. Lengthen legs, lengthen spine, into a little back bend. Maybe slide the hands back, elbows to the ceiling. Exhale, moving through table, deciding what feels best. Child's pose or downward dog for 5 breaths. Or you can just go into a cat and cow, the vinyasa that we're in. Doesn't matter so much what posture or sequence of postures you take. It's just to embody breath and the flow of the stream of consciousness here for one more inhale. And exhaling to empty all the breath out with that space now to walk forward. And then fill the inhale. Halfway, exhale, fold. And press into the feet, coming up. Breathing in, exhale, bring the hands around behind. Take the other thumb on top. Looping the shoulders. Drop into the squat, exhale. And fold, inhale, release the arms. Inhale, drop the seat, lift the chest. Exhale, belly to thighs. Just one more, inhale. And exhale. Release the arms, come up halfway, lengthen. Bend the knees, take the right leg back, making your way to plank. Shifting through and forward to lower elbows narrow. Inhale, heart opens. The exhale presses up and back through table to a resting pose for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's meet in downward dog and bring the big toes together. Take the right leg up and back, 3-legged dog. Keep the palms evenly pressing and then open up the right hip and just reach up and out through the right heel, looking underneath the right armpit. You can bend the right knee, counter the weight of the left heel with a little extra press into the right hand for another breath in there. Space in the hip. Let's stretch back again, 3-legged dog. And then bring the right knee towards the nose, shifting the shoulders forward and lifting the seat way up there. With that space, step the right foot up and pivot the left heel towards the floor. Lining up right heel with left arch and starting to open up the left arm to pull it up into warrior 2, settling into this pose, looking out over the right fingertips. And then let's straighten the front leg on the inhale. And then exhale, bring it into warrior 2. We'll do a sequence here, coming up, straightening front leg. And then exhale into warrior 2. One more time, inhale here. Exhale, drop the left arm down. And then bend through the right knee again, keeping the inner thigh nice and long. Inhale through warrior 2. Exhale, reach forward through the right arm. Connect right fingertips with the left heel and rest the right elbow on the thigh, or if you have blocks, you like to use them, you can lift them up and do a few big circles with the left arm. Reaching forward and reaching back, opening the thoracic spine. And then pull up and back again. Inhale, warrior 2. And exhale to straighten out that leg. Bring the feet to parallel and bring the hands around. Just have the hands on the hips and squeeze the shoulder blades together. Squeeze the elbows and the breastbone up. Let's fold over the legs and bring the hands to floor or to blocks or wall, chair, whatever you have. Lifting up a little bit here. And then bend the knees so that you can let your seat stick out. Bend the knees nice and deep. And walk the hands a little forward. Just let that feel nice, some space coming along the spine. You can bend the left knee and straighten out the right leg. And crawl the hands a little further to the right. Straighten out the left leg, come through center, bend the right knee and crawl the hands a little bit to the left. Come through center again, inhale. Exhale, let's bring the hands to the hips and start to come up. Breathing in. And then let's just switch over to the other side. So let's pivot the left toes and line up left heel, right arch or right heel, and start to bend through the left knee. Try to feel into where the spine is without it needing to look a certain way. Just feel into where you can find some comfort and ease in a posture that has lots of work in it already, so no need to add any more. Spreading the right arm from the shoulder and then the left arm, and then looking to the left. Inhabiting this posture, this body, mind fully. Some depth of breath here. Radiating from the center of the chest. And then we'll start to move it. So straighten out, front leg, reach both arms, inhale. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale to lengthen up. And then exhale, connecting left fingers with right heel. Inhale. And exhale. Last time coming up, inhale. Reverse Trikonasana, exhale. Another breath there. And exhale, bend down through the front knees, so it's an exalted warrior. And then reaching forward with the right arm to let the elbow, hand, or whatever can come down, wrapping the left ribs around. Right arm reaches up, and then some circles there. You can watch your fingers, a little bit of balance here. Grounding through the feet, deep roots. Reach that right arm up again to lift up warrior two, one breath cycle. And then straighten both legs, parallel the feet again, and bring the hands to the hips. Let's turn the heels in now. Adjust, you might take it a little bit of a shorter stance and drop it down. Spreading the inner thighs, letting your hands or your head be supported by the shoulder when it needs to. It's pretty nice. Let's drop the left shoulder down, taking that twist over towards the right. Inhale, center, and then take that twist over towards the left. Let's do that again. Inhale, center, exhaling to switch. Inhale and exhale. Back through center. Let your head have its own space floating up a little bit again. Press the hands to the heart, little pulses. Squeezing the glutes for 3. Wrapping the knees away from each other, 2. And 1, lengthen up, up, up. Whew, and release the arms. Let's bring the feet again, hips distance apart. So if you want to use a wall or a chair or anything, if you're more interested in the stretch rather than the balance, then you can do that. I'm going to do a figure 4 shape. We'll start just by bending the knees and coming into a little Utkatasana. So you might be using the wall. And so the right ankle coming across the left knee. Just getting that nice stretch in the right hip. You can try to lift the right hip up a little bit here. If you are interested in working on the balance, then you're just kind of going with the wobbling, or not. If you want to be more getting into the hip stretch, then the wall is good. You might sit a little lower and keep lifting up through the right hip. So as long as you don't feel anything in your right knee, for another 3, 2, and 1. Lift that up, lift the right knee up. And let's take it into a warrior 3 from there. Again, you can use a wall. I got lots of carpet in my room, so balance is really tricky. Any variation of warrior 3, hands on floor or blocks or a chair as well. Wrapping the outer right hip down. Let's step back with the right leg and reach the arms up, inhale. And then exhale, bring the hands to the floor. Let's just step it back, downward facing dog. Taking a break here, or on child's pose, or another vinyasa flow if you like. Anchoring back to sensation, allowing for space, something to dissolve. Let's come through table and then downward facing dog, and bring the big toes together. And then let's stretch out for that three-legged dog left side and open up the hip. Left palm press away from left heel. Looking underneath the left arm, and you can bend that knee if you like. Left heel and left hand in opposition for one more breath. And then knee to nose, exhale. Shifting forward to a low lunge for a breath in there. And then we'll just step the right foot up beside the left foot and fold over the legs. And lengthen up halfway, inhale. And exhale, fold. Let's drop it into the seat and come up Utkatasana for a breath there. And then second side. So left ankle will cross over the right. Knee. Just playing with your balance here without anything supporting. You might not come down as low. Or you can move in to use a chair or wall, or you can have your blocks on the floor. Something. Just get a little deeper into the hip stretch. Whatever you're doing, the left hip you want to be feeling energetically. That's hugging in and lifting up a little bit, and the right hip is hugging in as well. Maybe the sole of the left foot is pressing over to the right, but it's not actually moving. Whenever you're ready, we'll press down into the right foot and reach it up. And then from there, knee lifts. And we'll start to take it into a warrior three. Wings or hold on to something. Your expression of this pose for 3, 2, and 1. Step it back. Take one breath in high lunge. And then exhale, bring the hands down. Stepping back, downward facing dog. Exhale. It's all meet in the child's pose. Knees together or apart. Forehead to the floor or resting on your block or blanket. If you do have a block or blanket, there's a nice stretch, and you can do this without, but I'm folding mine up again so that it's at the front of the mat. And in that child's pose, the elbows can come onto that. Sometimes we use 2 blocks shoulder distance apart. Try to have the elbows pretty narrow, and then the forehead can find a place it may be resting on that support, leaning the hips back. Maybe the hands can come in to nestle behind the head. I like to press my fingertips together back there. Let's get into that. I should feel some space coming between the shoulder blades. If you don't have anything, that's okay. You can do it without, or you can just reach the arms way, way forward. And release. Start to walk back to take a seat. And we're going to find a bent knee expression of the pigeon pose. Let's get into the hips for the last little bit here. So let's lean back and take the feet really wide apart. I'm actually going to get rid of this mat just because I'm blending in. All right, so let's take the knees over to the left and then back up and over to the right. over to the left, just nice and slow. You can see the legs are kind of in a figure 4 shape. And then over to the right. And then sit on the right hip. You can put a pillow underneath the right hip or that blanket. And you can keep your legs in that figure 4-ish shape. Or you can bring your left knee closer to your right heel. So you can decide. We're going to start a twist by walking the left hand to the right knee and looking over the right shoulder. And you might want to just stay in this pose with some stillness and let the breath be dynamic. If you feel like bringing a little more of emphasis on a ring out on the exhales, then you can come back and lift up and wrap the elbows around over towards the left. And then inhale as you come back, place the right fingers down and reach around with the left hand. And then exhale, come back. Inhale, right fingertips, left arm reaches. Exhale, back. Inhale, swipe. And exhale, back. One more time to look over the right shoulder. Just take an extra breath there. Walls are good, or table, legs, or desk countertops if you grab anything to make it more interesting. And then let's come back and slowly drop the knees over to the other side. It might be different on this side, so you can adjust so you're in that looking out over your left shin posture. Your right hip is lifted right up off the ground. Right hand to the left outer thigh and left fingertips start to walk behind. Tuck the right bum cheek under, the left under, looking over the left shoulder. So stay here if that's nice. Or come into the twist, over towards the right on the exhale. And then inhale back into the right arm reaching over. Exhale into the twist to the right. Inhale, twisting left. And exhale to the right. Once more, inhale and stay there for 3, 2, and 1. Back through center. And kick the legs out. Take a diamond shape with the feet pretty long, a long space between your center sits bones. I'm sitting up on my prop, broadening through the collarbones, and then just stretching forward to let that all travel through. Noticing the breath coming in. And the carbon dioxide flowing out in this posture. Visualizing the contents of the brain just draining out. Slowly start to make your way up and bring the knees together there. And let's come onto the back. Let's have the knees fall into touch. Just lots of hip opening today, shoulder. Just let the hips roll into center, or the femur bones have that internal rotation. Good. One more thing here. Let's have a bridge pose with the feet on the floor and wiggle the fingertips down towards the heels. If you're done and you want to place your blocks or pillow underneath your seat, you can have the restorative bridge. Otherwise, just press into the backs of the arms and lift the hips up. And I've been doing a lot of wanting to strengthen the glutes. So in the bridge pose, keeping the feet where they are, hips distance apart, but letting the knees come open and keeping the hips high. So you should feel something going on with the glutes. And then exhale, try to bring the knees closer together. So that's the femur bones rolling in. And then exhale, squeeze the glutes so the knees can widen. Strong press through the feet either way. Knees come in, squeeze. Roll the inner thighs and then squeeze the glutes to open up. And do 2 more. In and out, in and out. Press the feet, lift the hips a little higher. High on the heels, inhale, and then roll it all the way down. Just slow, delicious, unwinding. Lengthen the spine. Hug the knees into the chest, exhale. If you feel like one final twist, then the knees can come to the right with the arms open wide. If you've had enough of the twisting, then you just make your way into final rest, lying on your back or coming to take a seat. If your knees have been on the right, then back to center and let them fall over towards the left. Start to make your way into a posture that is completely without effort. Dropping the weight of the body into the support of the earth in whatever shape that you've chosen. Taking a few moments to adjust your skull, rocking the head side to side, giving the jaw some movement as well. If you're lying on your back, you can just flop the legs in and out, in and out. If it's comfortable for you to have the eyes closed. And as you rest, just letting some of the outer crust continue to fall away. You might take your attention to the area of the body that at the beginning of the session you had noticed there was some tension. Just see what's there now. Just as an investigation, as an inquiry, not as it needing to be a certain way. Just the observation. What's here now? Same thing with the mental, emotional activity state. Just to see again what is present right now. And is there a reaction to that? In reality, nothing in the mental landscape can stay very long. It may keep returning, but there's some space to hold as well. Perhaps some small event that's happened in your day, even to now, that inspires some gratitude. In a moment, you'll hear the sound of the bell, and if you're wanting to continue in a restful way, please do that. Otherwise, bringing some movement back, or just allowing the vibration of the gong to be the movement. If you're on your back, you might take a stretch out here. You could hold the back of your skull and draw the chin in towards the chest and rock it a little side to side. Rolling over to one side to come up so that we can close the practice together, officially opening up the awareness that we're still in this together. Sitting in a comfortable way and allowing the breath to travel through the space along the spine. And I'm just going to read a very brief quote from Maya Angelou that came across my screen earlier this week, just to set us on our way. Let choice whisper in your ear and love murmur in your heart. Be ready. Here comes life. So yeah, here comes the rest of our day. It's taking the hands to the lap or to rest over your own heart and connecting back in there. Just taking a deep breath in and out. And then directing the chin to the chest and the fingers pointing a little bit away from your own heart, and taking another breath in and out there to extend the well wishes for safety, good health, happiness, freedom from suffering to all beings everywhere. Namaste. Thank you, beautiful ladies. And anyone else also beautiful, gentlemen that may be watching later.